Okay, so some pretty shocking new files have just dropped from the Department of Justice, and they're adding some really disturbing new layers to the whole Jeffrey Epstein scandal. In this explainer, we're going to break down what these documents are telling us about a network that somehow managed to operate in the shadows for decades. This is the question that's been hanging over this case right from the very beginning. And these latest revelations, well, they're starting to give us some of the most disturbing answers we've seen yet. And look, we're not just talking about rehashed details here. The DOJ files have newly revealed videos, emails, and testimony that are painting a much clearer and honestly more systematic picture of manipulation and control. So let's dive right in. The first major point is this bombshell evidence that's sparking a lot of new outrage and raising some really fresh questions about how recruitment actually worked. The evidence being detailed here is incredibly specific. We're talking about footage that reportedly shows women walking towards cameras, posing in heels and lingerie just like they would for a real modeling job. For investigators, this is a huge deal. It's not just disturbing, it's potential hard proof of a recruitment method that people have been alleging for years. And it seems these tapes are just one piece of a much larger puzzle, a really disturbing pattern of deception that survivors have actually been talking about for decades. The alleged strategy was just tragically simple. You dangle the possibility of fame and fortune, you pose as this powerful guy with connections to huge brands, and you prey on the dreams of young women. This quote, wow, it comes from Alicia Arden. She's a model, an aspiring actress who came forward a long time ago. Back in 1997, she met Epstein after he allegedly told her he was a talent scout for Victoria's Secret. Her story is just such a powerful, awful example of the bait and switch that was supposedly going on. I mean, just look at the stark contrast here. On one side, you've got this incredible promise, a life-changing career opportunity, and on the other, the reality that Alicia Arden described, an assault that ended with her literally running out of his hotel room and going straight to the police to file a report. This one encounter really captures the whole alleged predatory system in a nutshell. But deception, it turns out, was only one part of the equation. These new files also pull back the curtain on a really sophisticated and sinister system of surveillance that was allegedly used to keep everything under control. The details here are just chilling. Emails that Reuters looked at suggest Epstein was ordering motion-activated cameras to be secretly installed all over his homes. And we're not talking about your normal security cameras here. These were designed to be completely invisible, disguised in things as normal as tissue boxes. And listen to this quote. It's from Epstein's own pilot, Larry Visosky, who was actually involved in installing them. He's talking about how stealthy this technology was. Their tiny size would have made them almost impossible to spot, which just raises these terrible fears of widespread covert surveillance happening inside all of Epstein's properties. And then you have this line, this chilling single line from a redacted email about the camera installations. Quote, "The Russians may come in handy." The fact that it's so vague has just fueled all this intense international speculation about espionage, blackmail. It even got a public comment from Poland's prime minister about what the intelligence implications could be. That line alone hints at what the rest of the evidence is making pretty clear. This was not just a domestic operation. This thing had a global reach. So to really get your head around the global scale, you have to look at the alleged players. You've got Epstein right at the center, the financier. You have Larry Visosky, his pilot, allegedly handling the technical side of the surveillance. And then you have these international figures, like Jean-Luc Brunel, a French modeling agent who's been accused of being a key recruiter from overseas. And the evidence for this global network is really stacking up. I mean, as you see here, the audition tapes reportedly came from multiple countries. Court filings accused Brunel of trafficking young women from France to the US for Epstein. It all starts to paint a picture of an organized international recruitment pipeline, all disguised as legitimate modeling work. So all of this brings us to the big question. Why do these new files matter so much years after Epstein's death? Because this isn't just about going back over old crimes. What these documents are really showing us is the how. They're suggesting there was this terrifyingly efficient system built on manipulation, on secrecy, on fear. They're showing us the actual mechanics of the operation. And the impact of that is just enormous. For victim advocates, this new material basically validates what survivors have been saying for decades. It's renewing these urgent calls for transparency, for a full investigation into anyone and everyone connected to this network. And of course, every new revelation just chips away more at public trust and shows us exactly why this scandal refuses to go away. It really feels like every time we think this story is complete, another piece of the puzzle just falls into place. These files are a pretty stark reminder that the process of actually uncovering the full truth, it is far from over. And that, of course, leaves us with the biggest, most pressing question of all. As these documents reveal the inner workings of this complex network, it forces all of us to ask, with the ringleader gone, who else was involved and who else remains unaccountable?